folks, Michael McGee here with Frank Rickman. As you know, he had a little bit of a blockage with his heart, so we figured now that they got that fixed up, got everything open, time to break out the bacon, baby. There ain't nothing like good Mangalitsa bacon to cure what ails you. And I took this pig and I hung it over at my neighbor's cooler, and I went in there today and I cut these bacons off, and I'll tell you, once these things get that cold, they get stiff and they get a little bit difficult to get off. But I'll tell you, once I figured it out, I got to where I could do it pretty good, and I was using that sharp knife that my buddy Short Sharp gave me, and that really helped a lot. Thank you, Frank. I done cut myself today. I wasn't even doing bacons when I cut myself. I was quartering up and cutting up some possums for my wife to fry up. She's frying up possums right now. What you see right here is some cartilage from them floating ribs that I fooled around and got in there. You don't want them floating ribs and cartilage to be in your bacon. What I want to do, them things have barely even fit in there, Frank. These are bigger than I thought they were.
Right.
I think I'm just going to do them in here. I think I'm just going to do them in here.
there.
I'm just going to dump a layer of salt right in here. And these particular bacons, thank you, sir. This guy's old salt from way back. These particular bacons are going to be salt cured only. They're not going to be sugar cured. And some people like to give me a hard time if I just salt cure them, but I tell you what, if you sugar cure one and then you try to use the grease to cook and fry with, it gets so sticky.
Yeah.
That sugar burns on the bottom.
And it burned the meat.
It burns the meat. Here's a piece of shoulder blade. I don't need no shoulder blade in my meat, son. So now that shoulder blade's pulled off, there's one more little piece of rib cartilage there. And one little piece of rib bone there. I'm gonna trim this up straight, see? Pull that off, straighten that up, and save that. That'll be some salt back, fat back salt.
Fat back. But we're gonna do this.
I'm gonna show you.
Okay, ho.
Oh yeah, I like to get it to it. Yes sir, now we're gonna pack these edges, just like this. And then I'm gonna take this one. What do you think I'm fixing to do with this
Put this on top of it.
Yeah,
Turn the back around.
I'm gonna turn the back around, but first I'm gonna rub some in. Not a lot. Like that.
Yeah. Now you're gonna put the other side on.
I'm gonna put this
here.
down.
Right.
Put this down.
Right, on top of this.
And a lot of you folks have been watching for a lot of years, and you've seen Frank and I in the bacon making in the past. We kind of know what, we kind of enjoy our bacon making, don't we?
Yes, we do.
This pig only weighed 155 pounds with the soaking wet, with the guts and everything. And I tell you folks, she had some fat bacons, and that's what I like about the Mangalitsa. They get fat bacons early on. One of the things about, they say Mangalitsa's mature at a later age, it grows slower, and that may be true. But there's something else about it. They have bacons at a smaller size. You don't have to grow them up to be 500 pounds to have a bacon. These bacons here, you got a regular pig would have to be a lot bigger than 155 pounds to have a bacon like this. So in that regard, we do save time raising these lard breeds. At this point, we've got these things salted down good. We're just gonna stow them away, cover them up. And we'll be back with you in about 24 hours. These babies are gonna be ready to go in the smokehouse. We haven't had anything in our smokehouse this year yet, but it's time, it's time. You folks can probably see the water dripping off this roof that's above my head. It's raining, slowly raining. We got a little freezing rain warning. Frank, you doctor me up good, and when he rubs that salt in that cut, that really feels good, Frank. I tell you.
It burns.
But anyway, we'll see you in just a minute.
Well, it's in about 24 hours.
All right, it is the next day. Frank's not here now. He was here earlier. I just didn't have time to do this when he was here. It has been in this salt a day and a half, basically a day and a half. So at this point, what are we gonna do? We're gonna shake this salt on. People ask me almost every day, do I reuse the salt? So I may as well tell you now, yes, this salt can be reused. I got me a little piece of fatty meat here. That is all. So this salt is fine to go again. It hadn't really absorbed that much water, but even if it absorbs a lot of water, you can dry it back out and reuse it. I usually use it for a time or two, or 3, or until the weather turns in the spring and it starts getting warm again, and I just dump it out because I'm not going to do any more salt curing after that anyway. Start over fresh in the fall, which is right now, winter, fall. I didn't really do any salt curing earlier, but we're in it now. So right now I'm just going to spray these off and get the salt washed off of them so I can get them in my smokehouse and start smoking. All right, at this point we just want to pat these things dry. I ain't got no dry place to put these. Oh boy. We need to pat these things dry. We don't need water hanging all over these things. One question people have a lot is on these Mangalitsa pigs. They're known for being slow growers. The question is, how old do they need to be when you butcher them? How long do you have to raise these things before you can butcher them? The true answer is you can butcher them anytime you want. This here was a 155-pound female. I don't know, she was 6 or 8 months old. I don't actually remember when she was born. She was one that we didn't get sold, and when we don't get them sold, they end up going into the pot, you know. Obviously, you can't fatten up every pig that doesn't sell to its maturity, which maturity on a Mangalitsa, you can butcher them at a year, and they're going to be roughly around 300 pounds, give or take. They're going to have a ton more fat than this. This right here, in my opinion, is plenty of fat. That's 1.5 inches thick right there. That's, in my opinion, that's fat enough. These bacon that you see right here are as big as most commercial bacons, so you don't have to feel like you have to put tons and tons of money in feed on these pigs if you want to do them at a size that's a little more convenient. Say you're doing it on your own, you're not taking it to a processor, and you don't want to be overwhelmed by a huge hog. Do you a 150 pounder? I mean, it is so much easier than a 300-400 pounder. It's just hard to believe the difference. All right, here we are at the smokehouse. I came in here an hour or so ago and swept the whole thing out. I took all my hooks and I cleaned them with hot soapy water. Stainless steel hooks that one of you, my subscribers, Andy, right here, a fellow Tennessean, sent them to me a couple years ago. Evidently, he took pity. He said, this poor guy needs some help. Look at this one little piece of fat here. I'm just gonna hang it and let it smoke over here. And I really do appreciate it when people help me out. I tell you what, I don't take nothing for granted. One here, one in the middle, and one over here. And that'll hang right there and smoke so beautiful. And I'm just going to trim off this little piece of fat here and let the dog have that. The rest of this is going to dry down just beautifully. Now what they tell you to do when you get them hung out in your smokehouse, they say let them hang for a certain period of time, an hour, 2 hours, I don't know how long, to let something develop. Like it starts with a P, I want to say pedicule or something like that. I've never done that, and I have had perfectly smoked bacon, or you could have fooled anybody that ate it. This idea that the smoke won't stick to it is fairly ludicrous. And I know there's something to this pedicule business, because if there wasn't, they wouldn't talk about it. But I'm going to build my smokehouse fire right now, and I'm going to get this smoke rolling. Let's do it. think one of the biggest questions in a lot of people's life is, what kind of wood should you smoke with? I'll be honest with you, it don't really matter as long as you don't smoke with something that's just nasty or toxic. I smoke with redbud, maple, hickory, and wild cherry and oak. It just does not matter. I would not recommend smoking with black walnut, with tree of heaven, things that put off a nasty smelling smoke. But other than that, I wouldn't even really recommend using pine, although some people have told me they use pine. I don't use pine. I might use pine to get the fire going, but not to smoke with. What I used to get the fire going was just some charcoal from other fire that went out. So that's just the way it goes. Now we're gonna let this fire get going, and this smoke is about to start rolling. Now I'll let you in on a little secret. There's a little trepidation about hanging good meat out here because I've got a tree right here leaning over that smokehouse that's split right down the middle. Oh man, I don't know. I can't really get a bucket truck in here too well, and truth of the matter is, we're just gonna let nature take her course. It's been like this for 2 years, just slowly getting worse. But there's a possibility that one of these days, that right there could cause a little trouble. We may have a how to build a smokehouse video, which some of you have been asking for, how to build a smokehouse video. We might not have a choice. We may have to build a smokehouse, but I just hope I don't lose a bunch of meat in that thing when it happens, because I have no control really over when it comes down unless I just want to take matters in my own hands and make it fall. And there's people in this world, I say the majority of people in this world, can't stand to let something take her course naturally and just see what happens. Now, if it was leaning over my child's bedroom, that's different. But in a case like this, a smashed smokehouse ain't the worst thing in the world. And by the way, I might want a new smokehouse, maybe. From right here, you can hear the moisture in that wood sizzling. As it burns, the moisture sizzling. That is semi-dry wood, but not dry enough to have all the moisture out. And that's what you want, really, when you're smoking meat. You want a fire like that. And at this point, it's time to shut this door and let the smoke roll. Have you ever seen a tree with a butt crack? I'm talking about butt cheeks and all, and long legs that go way, way up. Okay, folks, this is the next day. As you see, nice smoke coloration on this meat, fat. And so I cut off a little test piece. I fried it up, and it was very smoky, perfectly salted. It's time to get this out of here. Frank's over at the table waiting on me. Let's get over there. Okay, as you see, I've got this young gentleman here with me today. I got this old man right here with me today. Now, here's what you do. You've got bacon that just came out of your smokehouse. It's going to be limber as a dish rag. So what you got to do in order to slice it, you got to get it frozen. Fat slices easy even when it's frozen. So I've got a bag here, and I like to Ziploc mine up. It looks like I could pretty much
Just half of it.
do that right there. Now, let's just see, Frank. Do you think it'll go? If it don't, that's okay. We can thin it down. What do you think? That's pretty, son. I'm just gonna come this way with it. I'm just gonna double stack this, triple stack this right here. Ain't that pretty, son?
That's beautiful.
Look at that. That's Mangalitsa fat. Mangalitsa fat, raised outside in the sun, has more vitamin D than anything else except for cod liver oil, and I much prefer bacon over cod liver oil. Don't you, Frank?
Yes, I do.
I'm telling you, that right
We
there,
don't really care for cow liver oil.
not that much, no. And this here also has some good omega fats, omega-3, whatever you want to call it. So we're just gonna zip this up about here. Now, if you got a vacuum packer, you might want to do that. But this ain't gonna be frozen long enough to get no freezer burn. This is just gonna sit in the freezer overnight. And we'll see you right back here in the morning, and we're gonna fry some bacon and have a big breakfast. Son, you like the bacon crispy or chewy?
Crispy.
Crispy's on this side, chewy's on this side. Mangalitsa bacon, folks. The easiest bacon in the world. Just, floppy.
Son, if you don't like it, what do you say, Dave? Don't eat it.
Crispy.
If you don't like it, don't eat it.
Is it too salty? Too smoky? Too greasy? Well, he can even eat it without teeth. It don't matter if you got teeth or not, does it? No.
No.
This stuff makes your tongue slap your brains out trying to get to it.
Becky and Jamie ain't got no teeth. They can eat anything they want.
Yeah. You ain't got many teeth either.
I ain't got none but, no, I ain't got no teeth at all.
You just gum it to death. Oh! He pulled his teeth out and made a lion look at me. Like a big bear. Well, Brian, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. David, what do you think?
It's good.
We salted it for about a little over 24 hours. Smoked it for overnight, plus a little. And it smoked real heavy because it was raining all night, and that smoke just sort of boils in there. That smoke don't go much places when it's raining like that. So, anyway, that's how we did this batch. We may do some sugar cure later, but this was pure salt, and it was fantabulous.
What do you say, Dave? You gonna cut it out? We're gonna cut it out.
Cut it down, cut it out. Frank, cut it out.
We'll see you. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. We hope you have a
Have a
great day.
And
We'll see you on the next
video.
video. Gotta try to take my channel over.